These are 7 SUVs that prove you don't need to sacrifice safety for simplicity, and where physical buttons still matter more than fancy touchscreens. If you're tired of hunting through digital menus just to turn on your windshield wipers or adjust the heat, you're not alone, and you're definitely not behind the times. The automotive industry is quietly admitting what many of us have known all along: touchscreens in cars have gone too far. Starting in January 2026, Euro NCAP, Europe's leading car safety organization, will require automakers to include physical buttons for 5 critical functions if they want the highest safety ratings. These functions are turn signals, hazard lights, the horn, windshield wipers, and emergency calling systems. Matthew Avery, Euro NCAP's Director of Strategic Development, put it bluntly: the overuse of touchscreens is an industry-wide problem. With almost every vehicle maker moving key controls onto central touchscreens, obliging drivers to take their eyes off the road and raising the risk of distraction crashes. This isn't just European bureaucracy. It's based on hard data that should concern every driver, especially those of us who've been driving long enough to remember when cars had simple, intuitive controls. A groundbreaking Swedish study by V. Bilagare magazine in 2022 compared 11 modern touchscreen-equipped vehicles with a 2005 Volvo V70 that had traditional buttons and knobs. The results were eye-opening. The 2005 Volvo allowed drivers to complete basic tasks like adjusting climate control, changing radio stations, and activating navigation in just 10 seconds, while traveling about 1,000 feet. The best modern car with touchscreen controls took nearly 14 seconds, while most took well over 20 seconds and covered at least 2,000 feet of road while the driver's attention was diverted. But here's what's particularly relevant for senior drivers. Research from the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety found that older drivers took their eyes off the road for 8 seconds longer than younger drivers when using touchscreen systems. Dr. David Strayer from the University of Utah, who led this research, observed that older drivers took between 4.7 and 8.6 seconds longer than younger drivers to complete simple tasks like making a phone call or programming navigation. In our tests, everyone was distracted by these systems, but older drivers were distracted for much longer periods of time. People my age struggled to use these things and were oftentimes frustrated. Strayer noted, "The stakes here aren't just convenience, they're safety." Euro NCAP's data shows that distraction-related crashes in Europe have risen by nearly 20% since 2020, coinciding with the rise of large in-car screens. Research shows that touchscreen interaction reduced pointing accuracy and speed by more than 58% compared to non-driving conditions, while lane deviation increased by over 40% once touchscreen interaction was introduced. So, what does this mean for you if you're shopping for a new SUV? It means that your preference for physical buttons isn't old-fashioned, it's smart. You're prioritizing safety and usability over flashy technology that can actually make driving more dangerous. And fortunately, there are still excellent SUV options that respect your need for simple, intuitive controls. Let's start with what makes an SUV particularly suitable for seniors. The higher seating position is perhaps the most significant advantage. As one automotive expert explains, you don't have to climb up as you would into a truck, and you don't have to duck or bend as you would for a lower vehicle. The ideal vehicle has seats that are almost hip height, making entry and exit much easier. Small and mid-size SUVs hit this sweet spot perfectly. Beyond the physical benefits, SUVs generally offer better visibility than sedans, with their commanding view of the road ahead. They also tend to perform better in crash tests, providing an additional safety margin. But the key is finding SUVs that haven't succumbed to the touchscreen craze and still offer the straightforward controls you can operate without taking your eyes off the road. Our top recommendation is the Mazda CX-5 and its slightly larger sibling, the CX-50. Mazda deserves enormous credit for resisting industry trends and maintaining what they call their human-centric design philosophy. The cabin features real knobs for climate control and audio functions, meaning you're not forced into the touchscreen for simple tasks. While the CX-5 does include a central infotainment screen, Mazda intentionally disables touch functionality while driving. Instead, everything gets controlled through a rotary commander dial and shortcut buttons on the center console that you can operate by feel alone. The CX-5 starts around $28,000 for the base model, while the CX-50 begins slightly higher at around $30,000. Both offer excellent build quality, reliability, and a cabin that one reviewer described as quiet and elegant. The physical controls are some of the best in the industry, large, well-labeled, and positioned where you'd expect them to be. For the best overall value, consider the Toyota RAV4, starting at $29,250. Toyota has consistently expressed skepticism about fully touchscreen-based interiors, opting instead for a mix of digital and physical interfaces. The current RAV4, while about to be redesigned, remains what one expert called a bastion of ergonomic brilliance. It's one of the best-selling vehicles in America partly because of its highly functional cabin with some of the best physical controls in any crossover at any price. The RAV4's doors open wide, the cabin sits at perfect chair height, and controls are basic and readable. The climate control knobs are substantial and easy to grip, even with arthritis or reduced dexterity. The radio has physical volume and tuning knobs, and the most important functions remain easily accessible without diving into menu systems. If visibility is your primary concern, the Subaru Forester stands out. The completely redesigned 2025 model maintains the qualities that have made it a Consumer Reports top pick for seniors 12 years running. The Forester excels at front seat access, making it easy to get in and out even with limited mobility. The greenhouse, automotive speak for the glass area, is enormous, providing exceptional visibility in all directions. Subaru has kept the controls simple, featuring large, tactile buttons that don't demand perfect eyesight or surgeon-steady hands to operate. The Forester's upright seating position gives you a commanding view of the road, while the straightforward dashboard layout puts everything within easy reach. Starting around $27,500, it represents excellent value for seniors who prioritize practicality over flash. The Honda CR-V, particularly in hybrid form, deserves serious consideration as well. Honda's design philosophy feels intentional rather than cost-driven, and their climate control knobs are among the best you'll find in any vehicle. The latest CR-V models feature reasonable power, especially the hybrid versions, and maintain a decent number of actual buttons and knobs rather than burying everything in touchscreen menus. As an SUV, it sits higher than a sedan, making entry and exit easier, and Honda has equipped it with clear displays featuring physical buttons for essential functions. The CR-V also includes advanced safety features like traffic sign recognition, automatic high beams, and pedestrian detection, all of which operate transparently in the background without requiring your interaction with complex menus.